268. It's the same thing for ERA. ERA 3.8 will put you right there in a 12-team category. 3.8 ERA will put you right in that category. Okay? In a 15-team mixed league. 3.55 in a 12-team. So you want to draft. I mean, look, if you could draft pitchers no less than 4.1 ERA. I mean, Noah Syndergaard. You got Tanaka. You got Boyd. I mean, come on, man. You know, you have even Robbie Ray. You could. These people, they may not help you, but they will help you. You're going to get these are not going to be your top pitchers. But you want to back up your top pitchers with these guys, and collectively your ERA and your WHIP. If you have a WHIP in a 12-team league of about, let's say in a 15-team league, about 1.3, if you draft, you're going to take a top pitcher that's going to give you a much better WHIP, and then back them up with 1.3, Max Fried, okay, Wade Miley. Those are just to name two. So it's about relying on your top two picks to be better than average and then back them up with average. But don't go under 1.3 WHIP and don't go under a 4.2 ERA. And you will be competitive. You got that? It's not about getting 300 hitters. It's all about getting hitters that will give you decent numbers. 250. Don't get anybody less than 250. I hope I'm going slow enough so that it all sinks in, okay? If you have any questions, you can give me a call, 516-353-6375. I'm not done yet, okay? Let's keep it going. And don't forget, when you're looking at rookies, interesting, second-year players. If you're taking a second-year player and you're looking at his batting average, remember, last year, 17 out of 24. The sophomore slump. That's when players go back after having a good year, and what do? They say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then the hitting coaches and the pitchers are figuring out new ways to pitch a player. Well, you know what you do? Okay? You got to understand, where does the sophomore slump show up? They can still do good in home runs and RBIs, but 17 out of 24 last year had their batting average go down. And I have followed that year after year after year. Okay? So that's what happens. Okay? That's what happens. The batting average goes down. Now, when you go into a draft, you've got to follow what I call the control the draft. This is where it also comes in big time. To control the draft will help you when you're in the draft. You take the position that, okay, here we go. We've made our teams. We know our alternatives. We know what to do. And now we're drafting. I could only suggest you never go into a snake draft with a preconceived idea of, I'm going to go in early. I'm going to sit back and wait. You must play the room. That's what you got to do. You must play the room. See if the room starts off hot or cold. If you throw out, I remember a couple of years ago, I threw out, I was looking at Cargo, and I had Cargo at $37 on my list. I threw out Bryce Harper first, or Harper was thrown out by somebody else. And instead of going for 40, Harper went for 37. That's what I had Cargo at. So I immediately threw out Cargo. I saw the room was a little quiet. And I remember. So I went in aggressive. Don't ever take the position that you're going in with a preconceived notion. Okay? Don't ever do it. Okay? Remember, always keep an eye on the unpicked players pool, no matter what it is. Now, you want to throw out players early? There are certain things you can throw out a DH early. If you like a DH and you like them a lot, people do not like to fill their position of designated hitter right away. If you have a DH spot, only DHs. People don't like to do that. So throw them out. Throw out a DH only. What, Nelson Cruz? I don't even know, whoever the DH onlys are in your league, okay? Throw them out first and see what you get. Okay? Of course, we all like to throw out the high-priced players. Don't use rankings when you're looking at the team. I'll say it again. The rankings must be by position and by category, not just Mike Trout's number 1, Acuna's number 2, and Arenado's number 3. You will lose right away. Now, every time a player, remember, the draft has to end even. There's only a certain amount of money that can be spent. If you're in a 10-team league and it's $260, it can only be spent $2,600. That's it. Could be less, but not more. So if a $20 player is thrown out, you have him at $20. Doesn't matter if you have the right numbers or not. It's about controlling the draft, not about winning some contest about who picks the right numbers. So if a $20 player comes out and he goes for 22, the draft is now +2. It's over by 2. If a $20 player comes out and he goes for 18, now the draft is under 2. And you continue to monitor that, the plus minus. And once it gets top heavy, even if you get a +75 and you get a -75, you will know, number one, the nature of the room. Is it aggressive? Is it timid? Okay, are they taking it easy? Remember, everybody knows what they're spending. Everybody comes in with a certain budget. Keep an eye on the plus minus. It'll tell you when to be aggressive. It'll tell you when to be a little passive and take a step back. And if you have in your tiers, if you got 4 shortstops who can steal bases, rank them. Maybe Baez will be number 1, okay? But still, make sure you get one of them. And don't wait until you only have one guy left who can steal bases. I'm using the stolen base thing because everybody hits home runs, okay? So remember, the plus minus, what does it do? It will tell you if the plus minus goes up to 100, it'll tell you that the players in the unpicked players pool, if it's a plus 100, there's not enough money for everybody to go what they're supposed to go for. And it's all based upon what you have. Doesn't matter if you're right or not. If you have a Todd Frazier at 15, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If the draft is over by 100, chances are he's not going for 15. And that could be for any player. But be careful. You don't want to sit back and wait if everybody's going over and you discover, well, I'm going to wait and discover there's nobody in the unpicked players pool that fits your team. Then you always have to be aggressive. You got to watch the unpicked players pool. And when you're looking at closers, as I said, I'm not spending $25 for 2 closers in the auction. I'm going to take in the snake draft at the end when I find that there's nobody special that I want. If I'm looking for batting average, it's addition by subtraction. I'm going to subtract the bad batting average. I'm not going to draft anybody who's going to bring me down. Okay? Not going to do that. You got to back up your starting pitchers. If you're drafting a starting pitcher high, you got to follow it up with another starting pitcher. I'm not spending money on a one-trick outfielder because I don't want to lose the RBIs. I'd love to get stolen bases from corner guys, which is why Christian Walker could be okay. Okay? And I'm not spending a lot of money on catchers because catchers to me, and when I say money, I also mean value. Catchers to me, every team now is going with 2 catchers. And for the most part, unless you feel you want to stand out by getting Gary Sanchez, but there'll always be somebody else who'll be doing the same. So catchers, I just don't want to be hurt by catchers. Okay? I'm not going to spend money to try to get the best catcher in the league. And there you go. That's the Control the Draft in a nutshell. In a nutshell. Remember, it's a transition year. You got Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler is going to give you a 2.9. I mean, look, he had 30 starts last year. He's going to be a stud. You had Jack Flaherty, who's going to give you a 2.7 and a 1 whip and 240 strikeouts. Buehler's going to give you 2.9 with a 1 whip and 225 strikeouts. Clevenger's going to give you a 285 with a 1-1 whip and a 225. And even Shane Bieber, anybody see he got 240 strikeouts with a 3-3 and a 1-1? He's got 4 pitches. He's got great control. He keeps batters off balance. Give me a break, man. Be careful with pitchers. But if you're spending a lot of money on a starting pitcher, you got to back him up. You got to back him up. And this is going to be a year you can get killed by drafting Scherzer or Verlander and overpaying for them. Clayton Kershaw, I don't know. You may even get him as a bargain. If you have any questions, I would love for you to call me at 516-353-6375. Thanks for coming into the chat room, everybody. And for those of you who have purchased the draft guide, love you all. Hope you enjoy it. 516-353-6375. That's the number to call.